And the reason I say Monday or Thursday is because the U.S. Supreme Court is about to release rulings on the Obamacare and on SB 1070. So that will provide cover. So that'll dominate the headlines, and they'll be able to do this in secret. So I would expect either Monday or Thursday, because you have to remember they got to do it under the radar. And believe me, the Supreme Court rulings will dominate the media.
Okay. My suggestion on this has been that we go ahead and make the sweep arrests and issue international arrest warrants and actually send detachments of special forces after these people.
Yeah, but see, I mean, who has the authority to do that? You have the Joint Chiefs of Staff
who are complicit with this. Hold on a minute, and I'll explain that. The authority has been given for by the civilian entities to the military to take said actions under the constitutional provisions of the documentation, and this is original founding documentation that was submitted to The Hague. This gives them civilian authority to take the action necessary. My understanding was that they were waiting for one legality to happen, which may be happening first thing tomorrow, I'm hoping.
Hopefully that action is Obama's signature on that UN document, because right there is treason. It says,
I understand that. Now, what I'm proposing is that, first of all, these people be charged with treason. Secondly, they be stripped of their citizenship. And third, they be issued that our people who will be in charge issue international warrants for their arrest immediately.
Do you have judges available for that?
And to give Interpol any kind of support necessary to go get them. If they need some special forces from us, I know of several who disagree with this happy horse manure.
What do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean Interpol?
Well,
what part involves Interpol? If they're out of the country? Because we don't need Interpol operating on our soil. We're a sovereign nation.
Certain of our forces have the capability of going international according to agreements. The agreements that were signed covertly are that, according to our constitutional basis, anyone wanted for treason in the United States may be sought out by our military in terms of attaching them and returning them to the United States using whatever force necessary. This has been issued to a large load of countries. Some agreed, some didn't.
And you got somebody in your chat room.
I don't know of a nation on this planet that could withstand a full-out, absolute attack by every military force we got. I don't know of one. Now, that's the alternative to allowing us.
You said about stripping people's citizenship there. You can't do that without due process. Yeah, but you can't do that without due process. Are there judges involved in this?
You don't need a judge.
Of course you do.
Because what you have is an emergency situation. And what these people have done is committed cowardice in the face of the enemy. And I'm sorry, but they could be executed on sight if they want to take it to the limit. And this is how the law reads. So, like it or not, they got serious problems, and I would like to see these problems fomented. I'd like to see I want to see the cold beer tomorrow of a combination of legal action and the military taking their action. Now, the military can take their action without that legality being in place, and I'm hoping that they don't wait. Just to be honest about it, I am very seriously hoping they don't wait.
Well, there's definite probable cause.
Exactly. So the situation is an international incident. Usually the military is involved in that, and or an international police force. Now, there are certain people in Interpol that are working with us. This much I guarantee, because some of them have been outed to me. And these people have a great number of the Interpol agency people with them. They would rather see sovereignty and the rule of law than some kind of arbitrary dictatorship, which is what this UN agenda is calling for.
Mm-hmm.
So my situation is interesting. I end up getting fun and games news like this, and then I end up getting validation that it's real, and then I go, good Lord.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah, I know. And then I go, good Lord, what are the people going to do? Well, I'm not telling you to go out and shoot somebody. I'm telling you to make sure you got your ammo, your gun ready.
You got to make sure you ID the right enemy, too.
Yes. Now, there's a problem with this. And somebody asked, well, how can you tell the good guys from the bad guys? Is your neighbor a communist, or do you know? There's a question. If everybody wears the same clothes, such as in the military, same uniform, how you going to tell? Okay, there is one way that is a giveaway, and it is called correct, proper, in uniform, ready to serve. The correct and proper is a knowledge of whatever equipment's needed to do whatever operation it is, and to be standing ready, physically able to perform said duties. The secondary part of this is being in uniform. Now, that don't mean in a war zone you don't take your shirt off. What it means is that you have a certain lawful and legal obligation to your country first.
Mm-hmm.
Secondarily to any other entity. Therefore, stars and bars are top echelon. They're the top of the sleeve. The secondary element, be that cavalry division, be that the UN, whatever, always goes either under or on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the left shoulder. The right shoulders are reserved for the stars and bars. If the stars and bars are not above that insignia, they are not legally serving. Period. And I hope there's a lot of troops out there catching this message. That means that you are not obligated to wear something of a lesser format than your base uniform. If you have a cover, be that a pith helmet, be that a cover such as the Marines use, or whatever that bears an emblem, the first emblem that goes on there is the stars and bars. Anything else goes under it. It is subject to the Constitution and laws of this country, period. Now, these people are taking treasonous action, in my opinion, and it's time, as I said before, I'm at my limit. I hope the military is too, and I hope they take their action as of tomorrow morning. Hopefully there will be emergency votes taken to charge these people according to the crimes they have committed, to remove them from their office, and to charge them with treasonous acts. This then gives us authority to grant warrants for their arrest and return to our country to stand trial. And I'm going to tell you, anything of this nature at this level also bears the death penalty. So you might just get to see some necks stretched, firing squads used, electric chairs. I'm not one of those people who goes along with the idea that you got to be nice when you kill somebody who needs it. So therefore, I'm going to say, forget the lethal injection. Forget the being nice.
I saw in your chat room somebody had said that the European nations will shoot down this UN Constitution. Don't be so sure. Harper, Hollande, Merkel, they were all at that meeting. Putin was at the meeting. All those South American states were at that meeting. There was 20 of them. That's the Rio plus 20. Then, after they left, Hillary is in the second wave over there finalizing the money part of it.
Yeah.
So, you know that they already threw Dominique Strauss-Kahn out and put that Chicago girl, Lagarde, in. I know everybody's going to say, yeah, she's French. Yeah, she's French, all right, but she came out of Chicago. She was working at Baker & McKenzie law firm in Chicago. Some of her biggest clients were Credit Suisse and HSBC, so don't be so sure on her either. She's right there.
There's another part to this everybody kind of forgets about. Hillary Clinton was the one that was touting the UN Small Arms Treaty to the world in terms of, oh, this is a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you cut off the parts for guns and the ammunition, and that stops all revolutions. That stops the killing in the streets. This would solve the problem on our southwestern border. Well, the problem is that they've been selling guns to these people since the 50s, according to some of the stuff that Joanne's given me. And everything she's given me, it's got a link to a reputable source. A lot of it is documented.
I make sure that I provide documents when I make a statement. Believe me, I'll back it up with a link and a document.
Exactly, and this is why I brought Joanne on the show today, so that everybody have some kind of opportunity to understand what is transpiring. I'm looking for
UN,
action.
That Small Arms Treaty, that's included in this document.
Oh, wonderful! They're going to double whammy us.
No, it's a constitution for the world.
I understand. I'm well aware.
Look what they're doing to the banks.
Well,
Look how many
what I'm saying is
17 banks were downgraded Friday.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and then there was one. They're getting rid of they're shaking off all the excess and consolidating.
The problem is that we have an equity shortage, thanks to Neil Keenan, and that equity shortage bears to the validity of currencies printed or manufactured, however you want to look at that, artificially to create the idea that, well, we'll send you a plane below the money. Here, have 50, 60 billion. The only problem is that it doesn't exchange on the international world markets. They're stuck with a whole bunch of toilet paper, basically.
Everything they are doing is illegal.
Exactly. So,
according to the U.S. Constitution, which is
according to the U.S. Constitution, none of this stuff flies, period.
Right. And
I mean none of it. We have a commander-in-chief who's shown cowardice in the face of the enemy. He refuses to stand up to it and say no. He's been denigrated. He's been denied handshakes. He's been denied even talking to him at varying meetings of all different kinds. This is the reason for the bow. This is the reason for the subjugation. I'm surprised the man don't have knee pads.
Putin lectured him for 2 hours.
Well, yeah, but Putin doesn't have control over him, and that's the problem. Sure. Now, a lot of what people don't understand is that a lot of what's happened has been twisted. A lot of what's going on has been formulated to look a certain way. And it's been done by our mainstream media, who are minions, agents, or whatever you want to call them, of these bad guys. This has been going on forever. Anybody that knows anything about it. And I'll give you an example. I remember that there were protests and riots and whatnot in varying cities in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
What is not known is that some 80% of those objectors were foreign agents paid to be there for the specific purpose of causing problems. This is similar to communist agents and supports from people like George Soros to varying Occupy Wall Street kinds of actions. The actions themselves could be right on, but when you get the dirty and it comes in, it pollutes the whole thing. It looks funky. Now, if somebody told you, and I want everybody to think about this, no more food stamps, ain't no more Social Security SSDI, and we're cutting Social Security by 50%, no medical benefits, you're going to have a problem. What happens when they can't pay but half of what they owe to the military on payday? What happens when these people run up against a wall and got no place to go? I'll tell you what happens. It's our turn at that point, and our turn needs to be not only concise, it needs to be controlled. It needs to be something that's thought out and planned, as the military has stated they have a plan. Supposedly, they're following it. Now, I'm going to suggest that they overlook that last legality and take action tomorrow. middle of the night tonight would be fine, as far as I'm concerned. Yesterday would not have been soon enough.